Hey there. We are going to do some bowl tempering. This is actually just going to be, it's my take on something that you can find a dime a dozen on the internet. It's a pretty classic way of tempering with a couple, alchemist twists, chemist twists. I'm using some water baths, a hot water bath here and a cold water bath here. It lets you take your time with this stuff a little bit more. It gives you some insulation. With that, I have to remind you, keep a set of paper towels handy. These are water baths. Water and chocolate don't mix. Be pretty meticulous and keeping everything really dry. If this is a dime a dozen on the internet, why am I doing it? Well, what I hope to do is actually, while we're going through the steps, I'm going to talk a little bit about the crystal forms that are forming as these happen. And I talk about that in great length in another video. So check that out and you may have an extra clue what I'm talking about here if you want to. You don't have to know it. I'm going to hopefully give you the physical signs of the tempering and some temperatures to know what's going on. Take a little of the mystery out of that, I hope. So anyway, what I've got here is I've been, while we're getting ready for this video, is keeping this chocolate warm. So it's out. But again, first thing, I'm gonna dry this off. I don't need dripping water in anything. Pay attention to your surroundings. Work slowly. Do not rush this. I very purposefully kept this over here in case there was any water, so I'm not dripping into my bowl. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have some chocolate here that's sitting at about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This came out of the Melanger about an hour ago, and I've been just keeping it warm. A first point to make that differs from a lot of what you may read out there is if it's fluid and it's in the Melanger, there are no cocoa butter crystals. A lot of places tell you to heat it up to 120 or 110, and frankly, that's excessive. Anything over 100 degrees, there's no crystals around. So save yourself some time. Don't take it out of the Melanger at 105 and heat it up to 120. You're just wasting time. Understand what's going on. Your whole goal is to start with a bowl of chocolate that has no crystal structure. That's simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour about a third of that. And I say about, and it's just based on experience, how much to use. And we're going to chill this down by stirring it. We're just going to cool it down. If I want to go a little faster, and I may, I'm going to put it into this cold water bath. It's about 10 degrees colder than I want to get it to. So this is sitting at, this is the whole point I wanted to show you on this. This is actually sitting at about 65 degrees. We want to go to about 80, means I want this at about 70. So I'm just going to get a little hot water, mix it in, and it's quite hot water. There we go, that's 69. That's okay. I said just about. It's actually not too cold. You put this into ice water and the edges of your chocolate are just going to solidify on the bowl and it's going to be hard to work with. You just want a gentle one to help bring this temperature down in a reasonable amount of time. You don't have to do it. I'm just trying to save you a little time, that's all. You want to let it cool on the counter for an hour, sure, do it. But this makes it speed along and, why waste time? All right, I'm going to verify again. I don't want any water in this. Shouldn't be any here, but let's just make sure. Before I go any further, because I'm going to put it in this, I'm going to gently check this. And all I'm checking here is that my water level doesn't come anywhere close to the edge of the bowl. So while I'm stirring, I don't get any flow over. Same with this. I already checked it because this had been in there, but same deal. Be meticulous about, did I wipe it? Be sure, because you're going to pour. We don't want water dripping in. So anyway, just going to give that a stir. And like I said, I'm going to eyeball it. It's not a critical amount. Your point is to form some type 5. crystals. And actually at the same point, we're going to form type 4 and type 3. And I'm going to talk through that. So anyway, that's there. Let's see how this is holding. Okay, so I want that to start cooling off, and it's going to that way. It was at 100. I want it probably 95 or so that by the time I mix 95-degree chocolate with 80-degree chocolate, we're going to meet in the middle ballpark of 86 to 88 degrees, which is our temper zone we want for this chocolate. A little cooler because we're actually doing milk chocolate. So anyway, so right this second, what we have in here is no crystals. And again, there's nothing magical about this stirring. I am dropping it high because I want it to give off heat. I want to chill it. So, you will hear some people talk about shear and table tempering or slab tempering, which we may do a video on. You put the chocolate on the table and you scrape it. And some people think the shear does something, some don't. I am of the personal belief that it's a mutated bit of knowledge, that shear is good in industrial tempering machines. But you really can't give good shear on a table. People tend to think it is, but it's not really. So it works just as well if you let it sit there. You're stirring to keep it homogeneous. That's the only reason. Nothing else magical. So I'm going to go ahead, just to show you what I'm doing, is pull my cold water in, real gentle. We don't need water. Making sure my fingers are dry. And I'm just stirring. That is all I'm doing. And my goal here is to get it down. Okay, we're already starting to get there. We're already down to 88 degrees here. So the question I always get is, why can't we just mold up that 88 degrees? Won't type 5 just form? And it won't. It seems logical that it should because we come back to that temperature and it's there. But the short of it is it's too energetic to form. It'll stay stable once it's built. Think of a set of blocks maybe. You can have a set of blocks here and shake them up and they're never going to form anything. But if you take your time and build them up and then shake the whole platform, it's going to stay in place. That's sort of the difference. So we need to build the blocks. And in order to do that, we have to keep chilling it down. But the consequence of that is we are going to form type 4 crystals at the same time, and also possibly some type 3 crystals. It's just going to happen. But that's okay. So I've got a very small amount of chocolate here. So it is coming down very quickly. And actually, I think I'm looking here. I'm getting a little thickening. It is down to already, because I had a cool water bath, it's down already to about 82 degrees. And what I'm actually looking for, I'm not going to watch a temperature, or no more to the point than to give me an idea how close I am. I'm going to wait until this starts to thicken and trace is what I see. And trace just means I can move it around, and I'm going to see it sitting there. It's starting to thicken. At 82 degrees, I've got some type 4 forming, and I've got some type 5 in here. But I want a big crop of type 5. So that's why we keep forming, or keep cooling, is I want a lot of it. And this is going to happen pretty fast. It's going to start, cascading is the term I like to use, meaning the crystals are going to form faster and faster. And so it's worth watching and drizzling. And there we go. I am just starting to get some trace. So this chocolate I'm watching, and what's happening is, I can't tilt it. It goes away. I can see it on the surface. And you'll learn, but that's what you're looking for. You don't want to go so far as it gets thick. So, and again, you won't ruin anything. The only reason you don't want it to go thick is it's a pain to work with. That's all. That's simple. It's just a practical matter. If it goes to solid, you haven't hurt anything. Just heat it back up. There's lots of 5 there. Get it back up, with some warm chocolate, up to 88 or so, and you'll have nothing but 5 left, which is tempered chocolate. So I probably should have grabbed a second spatula here, but I didn't. So let that sit for just a second. I'm going to give our warm chocolate a stir and see where it is sitting. That is almost perfect. It is cooled off. It's pretty cool in this room. So it's 95 degrees, just about perfect. Enough that I'm going to go ahead, pull it out. I'm going to wipe. Do not forget it. Keep some paper towels handy. Just get used to that every time. So you don't have to think about it afterwards. There you go. And I skewed over here because I saw some water here. I want it on a dry spot. Okay. So we're coming up to, that's at the right warm temperature. I'm going to come back at this. And that, you can see that, I think. It's actually kind of plopping off now. Let's see if I can get that again. There. You can see some of the very specific, or you can see it's thickening. There you go. It's clumping. That's what we're looking for. There's lots of 5 now. Tons of it. There's also 4 and 3. Not a big deal. Oh, there. And it's even starting to stick. We don't want to take that any further. It's just, and again, you won't ruin it. It just becomes difficult to work with. So you've got 2 options here. You can either put it in the warm water bath, or what we had here was the whole reason, is I'm going to start adding this back. Again, dry bowl. And what I'm doing is I'm going to add a little back, and just a little at a time. I'm going to mix that up, and I'm doing just a little bit so that it's easy to work with. That's all, no other reason. Again, I want to take the mystery out of this for you. So again, sitting in this bowl, we have type 5, 4, and 3. There, that's starting to thin out. I'm just going to keep an eye on the temperature and just so I can report back to you is actually why I'm doing that. Do some more. And what I'm trying to do, the reason I'm adding the hot chocolate, warm chocolate, to the cold chocolate, if I were to pour this into here, and this happened to be too warm, and say we went to 92 degrees, that's just too warm for a milk chocolate, and we would lose those type 5s. They would melt. So we don't want to do that. We're taking baby steps up. Okay. Okay, so what we are actually up at 82 degrees. At this point, those type 3 are gone. They've melted. They're gone. So we've now eliminated one of those. As we raise it up again, the type 4 is going to go away. There we go. So this is a perfect point. We're at about 92 degrees. If I add all of this to this, this simply can't get too hot. There's too much mass, and this is cool enough. So I can very safely add it all back in. Just like that. And I should say I really like bowl tempering over, my personal preference, over table, just because it doesn't make such a mess. I like water baths because I was so many years in a laboratory, and they're good insulators. That's just what I like. So the other thing here is sort of like folding in egg whites. You don't want to whisk this stuff. Again, it won't hurt anything. You don't want air bubbles. So I'm doing a nice simple stir. Okay, we're going to do one final check. Okay, so again, it's pretty cool in this room. We're about 85 degrees. So I actually want this a little bit warmer, which is why I've got my hot water bath. I'm just going to set that in nice and gentle. I'd already pre-checked my level. And I'm going to scrape real gently until this gets up to about 87 degrees. Again, milk chocolates. Actually, milk chocolates are a really great way to start your tempering. Let me restart that over. A lot of people think of chocolate having 2 forms. It's either tempered or it's bloomed. But there's actually a third state it can have. Just like numbers. You can have +1. That's tempered chocolate. You can have -1. That's bloom chocolate. But there's something in the center there. There's 0. It's neither of those. It's not positive, it's not negative. And you can simply have untempered chocolate that's not bloomed. And you can get that if you have other fats in your chocolate. And in this particular case, we have milk fat, we have butter. It helps inhibit all crystallization. It preferentially inhibits 4, 3, and 2 more than 5. What that means is even if you miss your temper, say you accidentally get too hot and melt too much 5, it may not bloom because the milk fat's going to help keep it, but it won't have a really heavy snap either. And that also actually explains the same reason that milk chocolate doesn't have that really tight snap, even when tempered, that dark chocolate has. Just that. It's because the milk fat is inhibiting some of that crystal formation. And so what you get is just a softer chocolate bar. But again, it's a good one to practice with. It's sort of like you've got training wheels. You can be a little off on your temperatures, be pretty well on, but you've got some leeway, and it sort of takes some of the stress off. There we go. All right, we're up to temperature. So again, I'm going to pull that out. This time I don't care where to set it down because it is wet. I'm going to get that out of there. Get that all dry. And the reason being is I'm going to pour this directly, at least some of this, directly into the mold. And then we're going to talk also about molding up, how that can affect your temper. And I will show you, likewise, what that means. Because again, we are crystallizing. Classic crystals don't like to be disturbed. You know, and this isn't, we're not setting up yet, so that's why you're allowed to stir that some. So we're going to start with one here. And all I'm going to do, again, it's all dry. I haven't dropped it in there. And I'm just going to sit here, pour it in, move to the next one, nice and even, and do it again. There we go. I'm doing it this way as opposed to spreading it out because at this point, chocolate doesn't like to be physically assaulted. That may be a good term. Don't assault your chocolate. You can wrap it, you can tap it, but you don't actually physically assault it. The reason being is basically what will happen is you will break some of the crystal structure on the top. And without a crystal structure, without 5, it will crystallize however it needs to. If it's cool and it doesn't have a structure, just like in this bowl when we were bringing it down, it's going to form 5, 4, and 3. Do the same thing. The result is your bar will bloom. So don't touch. And I'm wrapping it now to get the air bubbles out. Raise them up, the few that are in there. I have a couple small pieces that have overlaid. Let them be, you know. So if you really do need to swipe them, do it one time. Don't try. And what I mean by swipe, I'll show you in a second, is clear off the chocolate off the mold. You've poured too much. So I'm going to purposefully overfill these and need to get rid of some of it. So here we go. I'm going to, like I said, very purposefully getting thick here. I'm pouring heavy. And I'm still going to wrap to make it even out. But I got pools of chocolate up here now. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to be meticulous and make sure that has no water. Come back, one swipe. Don't disturb it any more than you have to. Right into the bowl. And don't touch that again. You could wrap it. You can do this. Basically, there was so much chocolate there, I wasn't scraping. I wasn't causing major shear. I was just pulling some off. There we go. If you sit there and do this and scrape and scrape and scrape, you're going to get lines of bloom, and it may propagate all the way through. It's going to have type 4, and it's a valid form if it now has a reason to go. So anyway, those are going to set up. We'll unmold them in a little bit and show you how they look. All right, thanks for watching.